Walk back into time, brother.
Brother, this is breathtaking. I mean, the mindset of 5,000 years ago, where the brothers' minds had to be at, is incredible. Just the thought.
As I said before, Imhotep, the multi-genius, long before Michelangelo, long before Thales, long before Pythagoras. This is the African that built this step pyramid right here for his pharaoh, King Zoser, in the third dynastic period, almost 5,000 years ago in the old dynastic kingdom. But yet we are told, our children are told, that Hippocrates was the father of medicine. How could Hippocrates be the father of medicine when Imhotep was a physician in his time? Architect, engineer, who studied the stars, who gave us the circumference of the earth by studying the winter solstice and the summer solstice, long before some Aristoteles, who we are told gave us the circumference of the earth. This is the story that they don't want us to know, and will do everything possible to deny it. And wait till we get to the museum to show you the extent what they will do to deny this. But here we see he built this pyramid for Zoser, a good picture of him right here. Of course you see his nose knocked off. You see, everything was done to deny the African spiritual ancestral story. And in the back of this step pyramid is the serdab, as I mentioned before, so you can look back at Zoser in the time, for he will look back at you and thank you for coming back. And you also got to go back and tell other brothers and sisters, don't go to France, don't go to England, go back to the land of your ancestors. Come back here. And they put it all here for us to see. And that's, like I said before, that's why you're back here. And this is just a start of our journey. So let's go to the serdab. You see our footprints from last year? You see my footprints from last year? Again, as you know, that I was talking about the spiritual ascension into the spiritual realm, and that is displayed on everything that you see is our ancestral astral projection and cosmic connection, leading the terrestrial into the celestial universe. This was something that was always part of us. So here you see this, what is called a serdab, and Zoser Neterket is inside, looking out from his world into this world for his spirit to transcend and to astral project, for his Sahu to transcend time and space. That's what this is all about. So you see his spirit traveling into the spiritual realm, brothers and sisters. So our ancestors are constantly connected to the past, the present, and also the future, which is the spiritual realm. So look into the holes right here and tell me what you see.
I see Zoser.
And what's he doing?
He's looking back at me.
He's looking back at you. Looking back from the world from the past of our ancestors to the world of the present, showing that it was two realms. Our ancestors did not have a concept of death.
Brothers and sisters, you have just witnessed one of the rare sights that will be shown by our tour guide, Ashra Kwesi. Let's now go to the Pyramid of Unas, where he'll show us the world's first religious text carved in stone.
Try to grasp where you are. In Unas's pyramid right here, where he built in the 5th dynastic period. And this was known as the pyramid text. We know the coffin text. We see that there were many writings of our ascension into heaven. Some of the earliest writings known in Per-em-Heru, that Wallace Budge translated to the Book of the Dead. Why was Wallace Budge calling it the Book of the Dead? When they came in and robbed the tombs, they were actually taking the scrolls out of our ancestors' hands. And they said the Book of the Dead because they were robbing from the dead. That's how it became Book of the Dead. But in the pyramid text at Unas right here, it's about his ascension into heaven. See the stars up above?
Yes.
So, how could this be looked at as pagan and heathen? The only way this is going to be looked at as pagan and heathen for you to denounce this, but this is the origin of our spirit called the Sahu, the spiritual body to ascend into heaven. Keep in mind, are we grasping the time period? Yes. Over 4,000 years ago, the Sahu, the spiritual body of Unas, ascending into heaven. astrotheology, as we call it today, spiritual realm. This was his sacred sarcophagus out of granite stone. This granite stone we're going to see when we go into Upper Egypt and Aswan, where they quarried the hardest stone. This is where the king's chamber was made out of hard granite stone in the sarcophagus of Unas.
Is that the tomb?
This is the actual tomb of Unas, where he was buried at. Of course, his sacred site has been desecrated. His body has been desecrated. His tomb has been ravaged by the tomb robbers who come in. But let me see you go to Europe and dig up some ancient sacred burial sites of Europeans and see how far you go. Because if it belonged to Europeans, they wouldn't desecrate it.